after a Palestinian student was arrested for protesting on a college campus. Protesters took to the streets and they have flooded their Trump Tower. Tyrone Bowman live. Let's talk about this on tonight. According to the Wall Street Journal, this article was written by Victoria Albert, uh, Al Yassa, Luckpart, and Joseph D. Avla. Ooh, what names to pronounce here. So, tensions over pro-Palestinian student protests rose on Thursday when demonstrators flooded Trump Tower to demand the release of Mohammed Khalid, and Columbia University sanctioned students over the occupation of a campus building last spring. Khalil, who's 30 years old, was at the center of pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia and recently finished coursework for a graduate degree from the university. About 300 protesters entered the Manhattan skyscraper that houses the Trump Organization and the president's New York penthouse on Thursday and swarmed the ground floor, according to Sonia Mirison Knox, a spokeswoman for Jewish Voice for Peace, the group that organized the event. The New York Police Department arrested 98 pro-Palestinian protesters. No injuries were reported and no property was damaged. Police said those arrested were charged with trespassing, obstructing governmental administration, and resisting arrest, all misdemeanors. The NYPD Chief of Department John Shell said. Also on Thursday, Columbia said it was issuing expulsions, multi-year suspensions, and temporary degree revocations to students who occupied Hamilton Hall in 2024. Columbia didn't specify how many students were sanctioned. The occupation of Hamilton Hall was a flashpoint in the protest that engulfed the Ivy League school last year. Protesters entered the building and barricaded themselves inside, blocking entrances with vending machines and sofas. Officers cleared the building less than a day later and filled several buses with protesters whose hands were bound by zip ties. Columbia, the site of fierce demonstrations last year that kicked off protests nationwide, has become ground zero in the Trump administration's campaign to dismantle what it called anti-Semitism on U.S. campuses. President Trump has criticized the university for its alleged failure to protect Jewish students. Federal agencies said Friday they would cancel roughly $400 million of Columbia's grants and contracts. Department of Homeland Security agents arrested Khalil, a lawful permanent resident, on Saturday at his Columbia-owned apartment months after his participation in pro-Palestinian demonstrations on campus, saying they were acting on orders by the State Department to revoke his green card. Trump said Monday that Khalid's arrest would be the first of many. Columbia's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, said Wednesday that she stood by all of her students and supported their right to express their views on campus. Now, the name Katrina, this has to be a black woman. I got to look this up for myself. Khalid was arrested as part of Trump's executive orders targeting anti-Semitism. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said the student was transported to Louisiana after his arrest, and a federal judge said this week he would remain there for now. Attorneys for the federal government and Khalil are arguing over where the proceedings should take place. Protesters and First Amendment advocates have expressed concerns over his detention. We are here today to speak up because my history has taught me that if we don't speak up today, we will not be able to come tomorrow. So, Marison Knox, the Jewish Voice for Peace spokesperson, said. On Thursday, Khalil and several unnamed students from Columbia and Barnard College filed a lawsuit to stop their universities from sharing disciplinary records and other information about student protesters with the House Education and Workforce Committee. The students accused the committee, which has heard hearings with several university presidents, of unlawfully attempting to chill students' right to free speech by subjecting them to doxing and harassment. You know, this is what gets me. Isn't it ironic that the MAGA Republicans, they all yapped and hollered about their rights being taken away. They yapped and hollered and screamed and raised hell about the First and the Second Amendments. But they don't want anyone else to have the right to protest. They don't want anyone else to voice their opinion. See, these are some nasty, evil, vindictive people. And Chuck Schumer, I don't know why you are so eager to work with these Republicans on anything. You are a sitting senator. You don't have to bow down and kowtow to anybody. And if you Democrats don't get your acts together, y'all are going to continue to lose elections after elections. This is not a game. People are hurting. And I'm going to continue to talk about the things that are important. The economy. People are losing their jobs. And then you got people golfing, trying to sell cars, taking pictures and posing like nothing's wrong. The propagandists over there at the racist and bigoted network talking about the economy's wonderful, jobs are up, eggs are down. All this is a lie. It's propaganda. Hitler did the same thing. All totalitarian, authoritarian leaders like to evade the issues. Gas prices are up. Foreclosures are up. Pensions are down. Medicaid and Social Security is being attacked. Individuals are finding it hard just to make ends meet. They're working 2 and 3 jobs, and still they don't have enough money to pay their bills. The economy is not fine. We're in the midst of a depression leading up to a depression. And all you MAGA supporters can sit back and lie to yourselves and talk about, oh, this is what we voted for. You're a bunch of pathetic liars. This is not what you voted for. You didn't vote for unemployment. You didn't vote for mass protests around the nation. You didn't vote for high gas prices. You didn't vote for food just idly sitting out in the farms and nobody wants to go out there and work the land. You didn't vote to become homeless. You didn't vote to have Social Security taken away. You didn't vote so that your grandmothers and your grandfathers could not get their medicine. You didn't vote so that food prices could be so far out of control until you can't afford them. Rural towns are being affected greatly. You did not vote so that housing vouchers, I'm talking about for all kinds of people, for black people, for white people, for Spanish people, for Asian Americans. A lot of people depend upon Section 8 and housing and food stamps. My neighborhood is flooded with people. It's a multicultural neighborhood, flooded with people from around the world. And the vast majority of them are racist. I pay them no mind because I know the racist wars and everything that we fought. And those who came before me fought in those neighborhoods where I live, for them to walk around and act like they own the streets. You don't even know the streets. You know nothing about the neighborhood or the community or the people in it. I told a couple of that straight to the face. So don't come around here thinking that you're grand, because you're not. Midterm elections are coming up next year. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back and whine and cry and complain? Or are you going to get out there and get in those streets and vote and change the trajectory of Congress? It's your choice. It's your decision. Never surrender. Never quit.